Our next guest has seen South Carolina and his Lowcountry community go through innumerable changes, socially, economically, and politically. In fact, his first book, Today, Oh Boy, is jumping off the pages and onto the screen. Let's welcome back author Wesley Moore III, out with a new book, Long Ago Last Summer. Wesley, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So we're so excited to learn about your new release, Long Ago Last Summer, but catch us up on Today, Oh Boy. You have some exciting things happening with that book.
Yeah, well, David Boatwright, the local artist, did the cover of Today, Oh Boy, and he actually is a filmmaker as well. And he approached me about making a 15-minute film based on a chapter from Today, Oh Boy, and I said, of course, I'd love that. And he teamed up with Paul Brown, who is a veteran film producer, and he also, conveniently enough, owns the Terrace Theater.
Oh, convenient.
So they put together a crew, and David wrote the script. He added some characters, changed some characters, so I would say it's more inspired by than based on.
Yeah.
But I was lucky enough to be able to visit the set. They filmed it at the old Bearcat restaurant, which is defunct.
Yeah.
It's west of the Ashley, and they transformed it into a 1970s bait and tackle shop.
Wow, how incredible is that? And so briefly tell us what that book is about and which chapter they picked from the book for the screenplay.
Okay, Today, Oh Boy takes place in one day in 1970 at Somerville High School. And during the course of the day, a chemistry lab experiment goes bad, and they have to release all the students from the school. And Somerville had a hangout called the pool room, where most of the males would congregate, and so the male students go running to the pool hall, and that's where the chapter takes place. There's some a northern boy transplant, and hippies are just becoming to be a thing in Somerville, and some of the rustic characters from out in the country aren't fond of the hippies, and so there's a confrontation and a high-speed chase.
Wow.
And it features a basset hound as well, and the movie was so sophisticated they had a stunt coordinator to coordinate the fights and the chase. So I'm really looking forward to seeing it.
Oh, wow.
It's in post-production now.
Okay.
It'll probably make the circuit of festivals, and then there'll be a premiere at the Terrace in November.
In November?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's moving quickly.
Yeah.
That's exciting. And so tell us about Long Ago Last Summer. It's not out yet, so this is a super sneak peek. But what is this book about?
It's pegged as a memoir, but it's as much about the complicated South as it is about me. The complicated South, antebellum plantations, shotgun shacks, Pentecostal churches, juke joints.
Yeah.
And I think what readers will really enjoy are the Southern Gothic and bizarre characters in the book. Eccentric aunts, village idiots, a creepy ice cream man, and there is a chapter that describes the time when Pee Wee Gaskins, the serial murderer, picked me up hitchhiking in 1970. Obviously, I lived to tell about it,
yes, you
but
did.
It's a pretty harrowing experience. So essentially what you get is like a highlight reel of my liveliest short stories, poems, essays, which can stand alone and be enjoyed separately. You could flip through the book and read one and then another. However, if you read it from cover to cover, it tells not only my life story, but the history of the South, from segregation through the Civil Rights Movement and the Cultural Revolution of the 60s.
Wow. So these books don't necessarily have a correlation as far as, you know, a prequel or a sequel, but did you always imagine yourself becoming a writer? I know you spent years in education as a teacher, but what made it time to write your newest novel? What made this the right time?
Well, you know, it's really not a novel. It's more like a compilation of shorter pieces. And I began writing professionally in the early 80s, and some of the pieces in here were published and they're sort of being republished in the book. But when my wife, Judy Birdsong, got pregnant with our first child, she wanted to stay home with the baby, and I was making like $700 a year as a writer.
Yeah.
So I luckily was able to get a job at Portugal and she could stay home. I would dabble a little bit writing during those years, but teaching and writing was very difficult to do at the same time.
Yeah. Well, before when we were talking, you said, people always say, write what you know.
Right.
And so I think it's wonderful that this latest book is kind of a compilation of the things you know best, your life and growing up in the South.
Yeah.
And now you and your brother, Fleming, are very creative people. We've had him on the show several times.
Yeah.
How is he doing?
I think he's doing okay. He's a grandfather now.
Oh, wow.
Which is pretty cool to be able to serenade your grandson with a guitar.
Oh my gosh,
Yes,
I can't
yeah.
imagine. And is he planning on running for office again? I'm sure he got his hands full.
I don't know, but he's busy working in the movie industry, and he's still a rock and roll star.
Yeah, that's incredible. So this book isn't out yet, but it's coming out on June 20th, but we can pre-order it, right?
Yeah, you can pre-order it from Buxton Books.
Okay.
And there's going to be a book launch on the 25th at 6 p.m. and Buxton is located at, I think, 160 King Street.
It is Buxton Books. So June 25th at 6 p.m. is the book launch for Long Ago Last Summer. And where can people keep up with you?
I have a blog. It's WLM3.com. It's called You Do Hoodoo.
You Do Hoodoo.
Yeah.
All right, wonderful. We'll put that website down below. Thank you so much for joining us today, and congratulations.
Well, thank you, Taylor. I really appreciate it.
We're back in 2 minutes.